Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. My name is Jon Carissimo and this show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. We're here every single Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern Time. Make sure you're subscribed. Text the word SUCCESS to 813-333-2676. That's 813-333-2676. SUCCESS, and we'll text you updates whenever it is that we have information to share with you to help you grow your real estate business, to help you expedite the licensing process like we're talking about today. We'll also be live on this Friday for State of Real Estate. We'll be talking about growing your real estate business. So welcome in to everyone tuning in today. I know a lot of you are tuning in on tampaschoolofrealestate.com. And maybe some of you are tuning in over on Facebook. Maybe you're on YouTube. Welcome into everybody wherever it is you may be joining us from today. And if you do have any questions, I'm getting the chats loaded here right now as we speak. This is a live production, so any questions you have that relate to passing your real estate exam, starting your real estate career, or any questions you want to ask me whatsoever, drop a comment in. Let us know where you're tuning in from. If you've already got a real estate license, if you've got a career in real estate, maybe you're already way past passing your exam, but you're probably not the one that's tuning in today. So I'd imagine most of you guys tuning in today, you're here because you want to pass your real estate exams. And maybe you're already exam eligible. And so we're recording this right now, December what is today? December 14th, live. But this will be available on a replay if you want to come back and revisit this after this is done being live. Within a few minutes, it should be available as a replay, and you can find that right at tampaschoolofrealestate.com. But we'll be talking about tips, strategies, what's potentially changing that you need to know about with 2023 with this new syllabus update that's been buzzing around. So we'll be talking about all that and more. We've got a really great show for you today. Say hello in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from, and if there's anything special you want to find out today. My name is Jon Carissimo. You're watching Ask the Instructor.
You are watching Ask the Instructor. Absorb the knowledge. Become the expert.
Hello and welcome back to everyone tuning in today, wherever you may be tuning in from. Looks like we've got Alex over here in the chat, licensed in Pennsylvania, but just signed up to do the Florida license. Do you have to test in person? Absolutely not. So that was actually one of the good things to come out of the year 2020 is the state began allowing online testing. So you could pretty much complete the entire licensing process completely virtually without even having to step foot in Florida. Now, the one thing where you'll probably have to go somewhere, not necessarily to Florida, but somewhere in person typically, although there are mobile fingerprinting vendors as well, is for getting your fingerprints done. So if you're outside of Florida, what you've got to do is get your fingerprints taken on a special FBI fingerprint card at a police station or any place that's authorized to do one of those, and then you could mail that in to an electronic processing provider here in Florida that'll be able to electronically submit those fingerprints to the DBPR. So the DBPR does require electronic fingerprints as part of the licensing process, but you could only take your fingerprints electronically if you're here in Florida. If you're outside of Florida, they don't allow the electronic fingerprints to transmit over state lines, whatever that means. There's some sort of rule about it. So what you've got to do is, again, get your fingerprints done on one of those cards, mail it in to one of the vendors, and we've got connections and vendors, preferred vendors we could recommend you to that do a great job making sure that you get a license. Tampa School of Real Estate, our name is kind of deceiving because, yes, we are based out of Tampa, so that is 100% true. I'm broadcasting right now from our office in New Tampa, right off of Bruce B. Downs and Highwoods Preserve Parkway. It's our headquarters locations. We have several locations throughout the Tampa Bay area. We just opened a location in Lakeland. But get this, even though we're just the Tampa School of Real Estate, our courses are for the entire state. And as a matter of fact, we've had people from over 40 countries now enroll for courses at Tampa School of Real Estate. To get their Florida real estate license, of course, we're specialists here in Florida, but it doesn't matter where you're coming from, another state or another part of the country, we could help you through that. There's a lot of online schools that you can't even use a international credit card or an international billing address to be able to purchase your courses. So if you've been struggling to figure out how to get your real estate license, you've stumbled upon the right place here. And again, if you have any questions about anything we're talking about today, if you want to reach out to one of our advisors more directly and confidentially, you could text the phone number 813-333-2676 or give us a call also at that phone number 813-333-2676. Reach out to us and let us answer any questions it is that you have as it relates to your real estate career, your future in real estate, becoming a real estate investor, any real estate objectives it is you're trying to accomplish. Reach out to us and we'd be thrilled to help you every step of the way that we can here. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Let's see, Alex, do you need to be signed up with a brokerage before your license is issued by the state? No. So another great question. You can tell you've had a license before, Alex. So you get your license immediately upon passing your exam. However, your license does have to be activated for it to be used. Now, Alex, if you've got at least 2 years of experience, you could go directly to getting a broker license here in Florida. Typically, we don't recommend that just because there's a lot of prerequisite in the broker course that you need to know from the sales associate course. But if you've already got 2 years of experience, you could go right from one to the other once you get your license, get your complete post-licensing for the first renewal done, and you could go right into getting your broker license as well. So this is getting more complicated than it would probably be for the typical person. So any questions anyone has, if it's more complicated, feel free to drop that into the chat. But if you want a more specific answer, if you want more guided assistance, again, reach out to our advisors. We have an amazing team of instructors, brokers, sales associates, people with all of these real estate licenses that work right here on our staff at the Tampa School of Real Estate. So we have a great team of advisors, so definitely take advantage of that. And one more quick plug for Tampa School Real Estate, then we'll get into passing the exam. If you're watching with us live today, you know, we've got a very special holiday sale going on. This is the biggest holiday sale it is that we've ever offered. We've got a bonus promo code. I believe you get actually 25% off right now, anything on tampaschoolrealestate.com. There should be a little banner at the top. It's off any new order that you make on there today. And on top of that, we have a gift card promotion. So if you know somebody that is interested in taking a course or somebody that wants to get the real estate license, maybe you're a broker or a team leader and you want to be able to get your agent something that they could use for completing their post-licensing or something like that, we're running a gift card promo bonus today where you'll actually get a $25 gift card for free for every $100 of gift cards it is that you purchase. You can buy that all right online, get a nice little digital gift thing, email you could send out towards. So any questions about any of that, again, you could go right on tampaschoolrealestate.com or call or text us at 813-333-2676. But it looks like we've got a good crowd here today. So what do you say we talk about passing your real estate exam? And specifically doing this in 2023, because maybe you've already been on this path of trying to pass your real estate exam, but you have not yet been successful in passing your real estate exam. And now you're worried about, okay, what if stuff is bleeding over now into 2023? There's the syllabus update. How is that going to affect me? So first and foremost, let's talk about that syllabus update that's going on right now. So the syllabus update, this is the first time the Florida Real Estate Commission has actually updated this syllabus since 2015. 2015 was the last time the Florida Real Estate Commission updated the official syllabus for testing. Now, that being said, since 2015, there have been several new laws and regulations, which is the reason why we update our materials on a regular basis here, at least annually, if not more often than that for most of our courses and exam prep tools. So we keep this stuff all up to date, even though the Florida Real Estate Commission syllabus has not officially updated. Well, the official update comes on January 1st, and what that means is all of these new laws and rules that have been added become now fair game to be tested on the exam. However, you know, we kind of subscribe to the theory that there's maybe some of these things already being tested on in that criteria. And even if it's something we know that's coming, if it's a new update, the reason why they're adding that information in there is because they want you to know it. So if it is something that's important, if it's something that licensees are likely to get in trouble with, there's so much data we pour through to be able to keep our curriculums as up to date as possible. So what that means is if you've already enrolled in a Tampa School Real Estate course in the last year or so, you've already got pretty much the most current information. And if you're currently enrolled in a course, you do have the most current information. And come 2023, January 1st, there will be that new official syllabus. However, the main most important topics that are being tested on, that didn't change. There were a few additions to the syllabus, a couple things moved around. But overall, if you've taken a recent course with us, we've already gone the extra mile to keep our information and our content up to date. Because we know sometimes life gets in the way and it could delay and throw off your exam prep plans where things start to go off the rails and off track. So we don't try to just prepare you for the short term, we're trying to prepare you for the long term. And there is some of this information that is test specific, where you may never have to know that information again after you pass your exam, depending on the type of real estate it is that you're doing. So we try to make this as easy and streamlined as possible, especially for some of those more extraneous details. And so there's a lot of simplification that comes with everything that we recommend for exam preparation. So welcome into everyone that's just tuning in here. Is 2 weeks enough to pass first try? I haven't studied in months. So Darlene, we'll talk about our pass first try strategy today and how you can kind of use it as a self-diagnostic to answer that question, because it really is on a case-by-case basis. I mean, we could talk about generalizations and average numbers here, but the thing is there's no such thing as an average learner. Everybody is just so different with how they learn, how they go about it, how long it may take them to absorb the information, but it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. And if you're using our exam prep tools and you're following all of our tips and strategies for what we recommend, you could definitely pass that. But here's the catch. If it's been a while, and this goes for anyone where it's been some time since you've touched this information, since you've actively, intentionally worked on reviewing this information, it's almost to a certain degree like you're starting over. And so there's a couple options if you feel almost like you've forgotten everything or you've forgotten most of the information. Now, your course completion certificate is good for 2 years. So you have a certificate of completion from your course that's good for 2 years. But let's say you go finish your course, you pass your course, and then 18 months goes by and you haven't studied or touched that information once. Are you going to be exam ready? And the chances are probably not. And I'm going to talk about what it is that I recommend. Here's what a lot of people come to us asking about. They'll say, hey, can I come and audit a course? And we do offer audits. It's a reduced price on the course because you don't need the course for credit. But we typically don't recommend an audit if all you're trying to do is study to pass your exam. The best thing that you're going to do, the next best thing to actually retaking the course, and honestly it's better than retaking the course because this is going to focus on just the key points and what's most important for your exam, is our weekend prep recording. So this is basically a 16-hour course. I think about 14 hours when you take out time for breaks in there. It's all pre-recorded, on demand. It's an actual live, interactive exam review program. And that's going to be the closest thing to retaking the course completely again, which you may want to do. If you didn't take a class with Tampa School of Real Estate and you're kind of sitting here wondering, maybe I should have, maybe that's the reason why you would want to enroll in pre-licensing with us, to take it all over again. And when you do that, it does give you another 2 years from that course completion if you were to take a new pre-licensing course with us. However, if you're within your 2 years or your completion certificate of when that was issued, you don't need to take a new course. You just need to study. You just need to know the information they're most likely going to test you on with the exam. And now again, if it's been some time since you've taken the course and you feel like you've forgotten everything, you do have a longer road ahead of you, but it can be done still. And a lot of this information, I bet, will start to come back to you as you start to review it. But it will be a little bit more challenging than, say, for example, if you just finish the course and you're immediately going into studying day one after the course is over. Because we'll have a lot of students that'll plan it that way, and you want to be intentional about this. You have to be intentional about staying on top of the application process, from the fingerprinting to the application to getting your approval, because if you kind of just wait and sit back on that stuff and don't get it done, it's going to delay you to where you can't take your exam. And that's what happens for a lot of people, is they say, oh, I'll get fingerprinted next week, or I'll wait on that, I'll do the application when I'm done with the course. But when you don't, we bring in fingerprinting vendors to our in-person classes, and again, we've got tons of options if you're doing this remotely and virtually to get the fingerprints done, so reach out to us. But if, for example, if you're in the class, we've got the fingerprinting vendor right there in the class, so if you haven't done the fingerprints already, you could get them done. And that way, again, you're keeping the ball moving, you're keeping everything moving forward, so that way you don't have time where you're going to end up sitting on this information. Because if you sit on the information, you all know the phrase, if you don't use it, you lose it. And we've got a very specific prescription against that. So if you feel like you don't use it, you lose it itis, we've got the cure for that right here we'll talk about. Yeah, Darlene, that's what'll happen. It's in there. That information is in there, but when you don't use the information, so we could get technical real quick on what goes on in your brain, there's pathways. Every time you have to use information, it strengthens the highways to those memories. So that's why it's so important that you have constant reinforcement of this information. And we've got a real easy way to make this pretty turnkey, pretty automated, and that's going to be with the MP3 audio review specifically. It's part of our Pass First Try strategy. So the MP3 auto review. These are all of our exam prep tools we have in the Pass First Try strategy. The MP3 audio review right here, this is only 5 hours. So it's our most condensed, it's our most concise exam prep tool that we offer, this MP3 audio review. It's also our lowest price point. We've got a ridiculous sale price on it right now. On top of that, extra promo code you could use at tampaschoolrealestate.com right now, a special year-end sale, a holiday year-end bonus. So take advantage of that offer that we've got going on. And again, if you know anybody, we've got gift card bonus promos going on if you want to give the gift of education to anybody. So this MP3 audio review. Now, if you're like my wife, and my wife was like, I don't learn by audio, I need to bring my wife on the show one of these days so that way she can sit here and say, no, John was right. Even though I don't learn by audio, I'm not an auditory learner. And I would agree with her that she's not an auditory learner. What this allows you to do is build the repetition. Let's load it back up here. Little whiteboard crash. That was the thing about our crusty old whiteboard that wasn't digital. It never really crashed. It just got dirty if we didn't clean it real well. So let's get back over here. And so this MP3 auto review, you could pull this up right on your phone. It's just a website you log into. As long as you have an internet connection anywhere, you could use it. And it's broken down by unit. So going back to my wife's story, she was using all the other exam prep tools except for the MP3 auto review. But what she had the biggest deficit in terms of her preparedness for the exam was understanding the key points. Because here's what a lot of people do when it comes to studying. They'll use some sort of something to do practice questions. And look, practice questions are great. The question simulator is a big part of our Pass First Try strategy. But you don't want to use questions to study. You want to use questions to test yourself, to test your knowledge. So that's part of our Pass First Try strategy. You've got to review the key points. You got to know these simple key points, but then to be able to be prepared for potentially thousands of different questions that are on the state exam question bank. It's not 1,000 different questions about different topics. There's a lot of questions that focus on the same topic, and you'll notice that in our question simulator, there's a lot of questions that almost seem like they're repeated but maybe slightly different. That's intentional, because when we know certain topics are important, we put extra attention to those certain topics in our exam prep materials. But the problem with practice questions, so most of the time when you're doing a practice exam, so let's take, for example, this book here. You've got, if you're taking one of the courses that include a book like this here that has a practice exam in the back, This is like your most basic version of a practice exam. And so what happens when people try to do this practice exam? So this is meant to mock your course and state exam. It's 100 questions, A, B, C, D, same type of deal, but 100 questions. So you get 3.5 hours for your state exam, 3 hours for your end of course exam. That's going to take a lot of time. And what happens most of the time when people do practice questions, and I know because I've realized this myself, is if you don't check your understanding question by question as you go, you may go through and do that 100 question practice exam, and then when you get to the end and you go back and grade yourself, you realize you got like a 30%, and you're like, wow, a lot of these questions I had no idea on. And then you go back and look at the answers you chose, and you're sitting there wondering, why did I pick that? Why did I pick this one? That doesn't make any sense. And so what happened, there's some part of your brain that you can't access that's got a misunderstanding. And so in order to correct that in the moment, what's essential is as you do practice questions, you're checking your answers as you go. You need instant feedback for every single question immediately. And we'll zoom in on this screenshot here. I know it won't be the clearest because it's super small. But you'll see after every single question, you'll get a pop-up that gives you a detailed explanation as to why that question is right or wrong. More so referencing a key point like what you could review in the MP3 auto review. So that's why these tools work so well together, is because they all accomplish different objectives. They all hit on different aspects of being able to master this information, and not all of it, but the most important information for the exam. So this 5 hours right here, this allows you to build up some repetition on those key points, because this is what you want to memorize right here. This is what you want to focus on memorizing. And going back to, let's see, it was, I think, Darlene asking, yeah, Darlene asking, is 2 weeks enough time? What you want to do, so start by doing this. Do this at least once, if not twice. Go through the entire recording. You could go to sleep to it. You could listen to it while you work out. You could listen to it in the morning, when you drive in the car, when you go to work, when you're at work, if you get away with that. Whenever you can, try to drill this as much as you can. And if there's certain units you need to focus on, again, this is broken down by unit. You could also see which units are the highest percentages on the exam and spend some extra time focusing on those if you haven't taken the exam yet or not sure what areas you need to focus on. But then once you've done this a few times, what you could then do is move on to the question simulator. And now you could use practice questions. So with this question simulator, you could go in there and do a 100 question practice exam, kind of like the one I was explaining here in the book. But again, you're going to get that instant feedback. We don't allow not getting the instant feedback. Because if you want to use practice questions effectively, you need to have that instant feedback the moment you pick something. So that way you're still in the same moment. You could correct that misunderstanding that's going on in your head because it's still there. It's still relevant. Once you do 99 other questions, you're going to forget what your mental state was when you were answering that question, and that makes it significantly more difficult to go back and correct your understanding. So that's why the instant feedback is one of the probably the biggest proponents of the question simulator and of being able to effectively use this. And the thing is that you got to pay attention to the feedback. Once you answer the question, don't worry about the question. Worry about what the feedback says, and worry about making sure you remember that basic, simple key point. And again, maybe if you score a certain unit, because you do this practice exam that's going to mock your state exam, and maybe you find out unit 5, you missed almost all the questions. So now what you could do is go back to the MP3 auto review and listen to unit 5 a couple of times. The whole thing start to finish is 5 hours, so I think the longest unit in here is maybe, actually we've got the timeline up here so we could look. So this is actually the MP3 audio review and how long each of those units are here. So let's say unit 5 was what you're struggling with, which is a 12% unit on the exam. It's only about 26 minutes to review that. So you could listen to that once, twice, 3 times, 5 times. This is one of the best things that you could do to help trigger all these memories on the way to your exam or the hours leading up to your exam, is be drilling this MP3 to get these ideas, these concepts fresh in your head. So this is an extremely powerful tool. This is, if you don't have any of our exam prep, the MP3 auto review would be the one single thing I would say to get over anything else if you aren't going to get the entire package. But with the pricing that we've got set up for the Pass First Try bundle right now, on top of the promo code savings that we've got, this is the best price you're ever going to be able to get all these exam prep tools together for. And they're good for 180 days. So this will give you 6 months to prepare and get ready to pass your exams. Now, this is going to be one of the biggest benefits that you're going to have getting into the entire pass first try package rather than just doing, say, the MP3 or just the question simulator. We do have a study essentials package that is a little bit cheaper if you want to leave out the weekend prep recording, but this is one of the most powerful exam prep tools that we offer. So this is what I referenced earlier, and especially if it's been some time since you took the course, this is going to be your next best thing to retaking the course in full, because this is going to be a video-based review, and it's an actual recording in front of a live classroom audience, and you'll see there's tons of math is one of the things, and we do have a specific math tool it is that we've been working on building out, but it isn't the top of our priority list because the math in the weekend prep recording will be able to get you what math you need to know to be able to pass the exam. There's only 10 math questions on your class and your state exam. They're word problems, and they are multiple choice. And even if you just blindly guess on one of the 4 options of multiple choice for those math questions, you've got a 25% chance of getting it right without having to show any work, without having to even read the question. But if you want to be able to get those math questions right, again, repetition is key. And with the math questions, those are the only type of questions where you have my permission to do the same exact questions again and again and again. That's why we have 700 plus questions in the question simulator, is because normally you don't want to repeat questions. Because once you understand what the question is, it's kind of almost like the curtain's been pulled back and you know what the trick is. But with the math questions, it's not so much about the question as it is memorizing the steps to solve the question. And you're allowed to use a calculator. And again, even if you want to just blindly guess, you got a 25% chance you're going to get it right. And if you get it wrong, you don't get penalized further. You just don't earn any points for that question. You need a 70% to pass your course and a 75% to pass your state. So this is absolutely passable. But don't get hung up on the math. Don't get hung up on the math. Because the math is only 10 questions. You got another 90 questions you've got to be prepared for. And you could blow every single one of those 10 questions on math. But if you master the other 90%, the rest of the non-math material, you're putting yourself in a position where you could score 90%, which is way beyond the 70 or 75% you need to pass. So yeah, it's good if you could have the math. Those are 10 easy points if you could get the math down. But if math is the most challenging thing in the world for you, don't stress about it. Use the weekend prep recording to review and practice those math questions that we cover in that weekend prep recording, because if you practice those, you're going to be in great shape to be able to get most of the math questions, if not all the math questions, right on your actual exam. There's very little variation typically with the math questions. It's just different numbers. And if you know how to solve these questions and spot the minor variations they might have, it's actually really easy to do a lot of the math questions that are tested on that exam. Once again, you've committed them to memory, the steps to actually solving those here. So this weekend prep recording, now this is long. This is 16 hours. So this is 3 times the length of your MP3 audio review. And on top of that, it's video. So there's a lot more information you're going to be able to capture with this. And in addition to that, you're actually even getting a workbook along with this as well. So this weekend prep workbook here, not only will you have instantly a digital copy of this, but we'll actually ship you a hard physical copy of this that you could write in, that you could highlight, that you could take notes in, that you could carry around with you to be your lucky book for passing this exam. But this is what really makes the weekend prep recording one of the most interactive tools. Even though this is just a pre-recorded class, a pre-recorded review class, because you could follow along and answer along in the actual class in the workbook, it's like you're actually live sitting there. And whenever you're logged into any of our exam prep tools, right in the bottom corner, there's a little chat bubble you could click on, and that will connect you with our advisors, with our instructor support team, wherever it is that you may help with, whether it's a technical issue you're having or a content question, or maybe it's a certain question in the question simulator that comes up. You're like, hey, I don't understand this. We've gotten a lot of questions before. Well, I'll be honest with you. No offense to anybody, because I do this as well. So don't be offended if you're one of the people who have done this. I do this all the time. but they'll message into us, hey, this question doesn't seem right. It looks like there's 2 wrong answers. And then, you know, it could be deceiving at first. Sometimes it takes us a couple times to read through it, but then there's just one little word in there. And so whatever you need help with, whatever you have questions about, don't feel silly asking us or coming to us. We've got like 27,000 different phone numbers you can call or message into us to reach out to us. And we do that because we want you to reach out to us. We want to guide you and help you through this here. You shouldn't have to do this on your own, alone, scared and confused, trying to figure out what you need to do. And your best guidance you could get from us in a pre-made curriculum format, if you're looking for all of our tips, tricks, secrets that we have of the exam, because over the years we've been doing this since 2007, and some of our instructors even before that. And so we've got a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, a lot of inside tips that we know based on our work in this profession. And so we've bundled that all together in our secrets of the exam. And the secrets of the exam, this is like your instructions to using these exam prep tools, your instructions to studying and be able to pass this exam on the first try. So this is a great thing to do, number one, as the first thing you do. So if you've signed up for a pre-licensing course with us, you might have received a promo where you even got this course included. If not, we have this course on sale on our website right now, The Secrets of the Exam. It's a really powerful course because it will help you understand how to approach this course. So that's why I would recommend doing that as one of the first things you do to start studying. There's not going to be any exam content in here. There's nothing to study in The Secrets of the Exam. It's tips, it's strategies, it's information that you wouldn't really know about the Florida real estate exam unless you have our level of involvement in helping people pass this exam. We know the candidate information booklet, all the different resources that are out there, anything that's available from the Florida Real Estate Commission or different textbook publishers that we work with or course creators. There's so much information that we pour through that we've distilled down to make this process as easy as possible to be able to pass your exam. Yeah, Darlene, going back to your question there, I mean, the best thing would be having access to all of the tools because, and especially if it's been a while since you've taken this is where I'd recommend saying, yeah, you probably are going to need everything because the weekend prep recording, that makes up the majority of the cost of the Pass First Try bundle. So it's not too much more than just the weekend prep on its own, and now you're getting the secrets of the exam, you're getting the MP3, you're getting the question simulator, and we do provide a significant discount when you bundle this all together because this works best when you have access to all the tools. Because if you need a short, simple way to review key points, that's the MP3. If you want to get a little bit more in-depth in reviewing some of those concepts, that's where the weekend prep recording and your workbook are going to be a really great tool for getting a little bit deeper into those concepts. Again, almost like you're going back through the class a second time, but in a more streamlined format that focuses just on what's important for the exam. And then you'll have the question simulator to actually test your knowledge, and you'll get that instant feedback. And what's cool about the question simulator is you could load it up right on your phone on the go. You could log in and do a couple of questions while you're waiting for a dentist appointment, or you're just sitting on your lunch break, or anything it is that you could do to be able to review. I remember when I was passing my exam, I had a full-time job, and I had a little review book that I had way back when I was passing my exam. I would bring that to work with me every single day, and I would be studying that review book whenever it was that I could get away with that. Anyways. They never thought I was going to leave that job. They're like, oh, look, John's over there studying for his real estate exam. He thinks he's going to go be a real estate agent. How'd that work out for him? So this whole package together, you could buy this all a la carte. We offer it a la carte as well, and there's significant savings on each of these priced individually right now on the website. So if you feel like you just need to focus in on the MP3, on like the key points, if you feel like that would be most beneficial for you, you could get just the MP3. If you want to get just the weekend prep recording, you could do that. However, like I said, when you're buying this, it's a very little minimal cost to add those additional exam prep tools with the Pass First Try strategy when you bundle that all together. The secrets of the exam, this is usually the most overlooked exam prep tool that we have. This is actually our most popular when it comes down to people who aren't familiar with our strategies or anything it is, and they just say, hey, I want to study for the exam, and they're looking at our website, what do we got? this thing right here, because they're like, oh, the misconception, the biggest myth is that you could just study questions. But all you will do is just waste your time if all you're doing is studying questions. Use the questions to test yourself, but focus on studying the explanations that we've got built into the question simulator. And so we've tried to make that as failure-proof as possible by making it, again, where you get that instant feedback right away. We don't make that an option that you could turn on and off. We know you need that instant feedback to be able to correct misunderstandings. Or even if you guess, you might get it correct, but maybe you guessed and you had no idea why it was right, but you picked the right answer anyways. Do you just move on and hope for the best on the exam? No. That's why you're still going to get the explanation right there, just in case you didn't quite fully understand it. Now you will. And what I would recommend doing with this here, so if you're doing this on a tablet or a phone, anything like that, you could screenshot the explanations of the ones that you're getting wrong. So that way you could just, go save them to an album on your phone, and now you could flip through those screenshots for the ones it is that you've gotten wrong. You could do that with any of the exam prep tools in the Weekend Prep recording or anything like that. So a lot of great things it is that you could do combining these all together, but they all are definitely going to help you on their own as well. But we do offer the most significant savings when you bundle them together, just because we know it'll work better when you have all of the exam prep tools. So we want to incentivize you to get those exam prep tools, and that's why we call it the Pass First Try bundle, because the goal here is to pass on the first try. So if that's your goal, I'd recommend bundling this all together. If you want to eventually pass and, just kind of dip your toes in the water, sure, maybe get started with the MP3. That would be if you're going to do just one of these things, this would be the #1 thing I'd recommend to get. This would be number 2, just because if you've already got this right here, now you need to test yourself. And if you find out you're still getting a lot of those questions wrong, that's where I would then definitely get into getting the Weekend Prep recording. If the information is fresh, if you just got out of the class, if you paid really good attention, if you are a learner that is to retain things faster than others, these are all reasons why you might want to just get some of the study tools instead of the entire Pass First Try package. Again, we have these all available a la carte, but if it's been some time since you took the class, if it typically takes you a little bit longer to retain information, hey, I get it. I struggle with that as well. If you're a busy person, it's hard to retain information. So don't take it personally. You're probably just too busy to be able to remember this information. And so that's why having exam prep tools that allow you to not worry about what you need to study, how you need to study, when you need to study, where you can study. We've answered and solved all those different problems with all these exam prep tools that you're able to have with the Pass First Try bundle here. And the MP3, Darlene, so it's not necessarily questions and answers, it's more statements. It's more statements and different ways to remember things. We actually have a demo of the first unit right on our website here. Let me go up here. I could show a slide for this here, because we'll have a demo where you could listen to the first unit. All of our exam prep tools, we have demos so you could try them out. So this one, you could get the actual demo. You could actually even get this whole syllabus right here if you don't have this already, of what chapters or what percentage on the exam. We have this all at mp3audioreview.com. So that's mp3audioreview.com. You can listen to the first unit for free. You can see this whole breakdown of how long each unit is, what percentage they are on the exam. And one thing as well, we talked about this briefly at the beginning, because I know Alex was asking about the application process and whatnot. But just in case you haven't taken a pre-licensing course yet, this is what I keep talking about with the completion certificate. So your FREC-approved pre-licensing course, you can't take your state exam without that, unless you qualify for like mutual recognition because you have a license from a handful of states. Reach out to us at 813-333-2676 if you think you might qualify for that. We could go over the additional details on it. But for most of the time, everyone's going to have to take a 63-hour pre-licensing course. We have several different options. We actually have the most options out of any other school in the entire state of Florida. You can take our courses in person. We have live online classes. We have an instructor-led video-based on-demand course that features yours truly. So if you want me to be your instructor, and you like this video format that we do on these live streams right here, you sound like you'd be a perfect fit for our video-based online course. And it's very short, easy to follow, broken down with lots of questions. So that's our third format. And then we also have a non-timed text-based course. So if you do it in a text-based format, a non-instructor-led, a self-guided type of format, then it's not even timed. The video-based course, you have to watch the video, so that'll involve a certain amount of time, but the text-based course, there's no timing to it at all, except for the end-of-course exam, which is 3 hours. So we have more options than any other school to be able to get your Florida real estate license to fit your learning style. And why that's also a benefit is because, let's say you sign up for the text-based course because you like the idea of it not being timed, but then you get into that and you realize you'd prefer an instructor to guide you through this. You could switch over to our video-based on-demand program. You could switch over to one of our live streams. If you want to come to the Tampa Bay area to one of our classroom locations, you could take a course in person with us as well. So having these options available to you here, to where you could transfer, there may be a transfer fee of probably whatever the difference is of the cost. If you're going from, say, the self-guided course to a classroom course, there's a little bit of a difference of a cost there. You'd also get a book and whatnot. So reach out to us at 813-333-2676. But most schools don't have those options. A lot of schools out there, they only offer one online course, and that's basically all they've got. If it doesn't work out for you, then you end up finding a place like Tampa School of Real Estate. So if you feel like you've been orphaned by the school it is you went to, again, you don't necessarily need to take the pre-licensing course again if you've already got the credit. However, if you feel like you were maybe misguided, misled, and you want to go through one of our programs from the start, as well as get yourself another 2 years of credit, then definitely enroll in a pre-licensing course. But then you want to use that MP3 to review and reinforce the key points. And here's one of the big tips. If you're writing down any notes, don't wait to start studying. Don't wait to start studying, because if you wait until your course is over to start studying, you're setting yourself up for failure. Because while you're in the class and you're studying and you're reviewing this, if there's something that doesn't make sense, you have the opportunity to ask your instructor about it, to reach out to our instructor support chat if you're in one of our online programs, to call into us and speak to one of our advisors to get some over the phone help, anything like that. There's so many options to be able to help, but you got to get going sooner rather than later. And we're here to help push you along as much as we can, but ultimately you're in the driver's seat. We're the driver's ed instructor that's sitting there in the passenger seat. And if you do what we say, you follow our instructions, even for some of these things that aren't required, like taking the MP3, we could help you expedite this process pretty significantly. Number 3, test your knowledge. So this is where you use the question simulator. This is where you start testing yourself to see if you know what you think you know. And if you do, you're going to be in good shape. But if you start getting some of these wrong, don't sweat it. That's okay. That's typically what happens. Don't go overboard and do all the question simulator questions and then go back and do the MP3. You want to go back and forth. Go listen to a unit and then try to test yourself on that unit. And if you're still getting questions wrong, go back and listen to that unit again. So this is a very back and forth kind of self-diagnostic process that you could use here to help make sure you're prepared to be able to pass this exam. And then step 4, again, to make sure you're confident and prepared and ready, that's where you're going to work in the weekend prep recording. Because it's our longest, most in-depth exam prep tool that we have. But this is going to help you close in on those finer points. And we don't recommend you start with this. We recommend you start with the MP3 so you could focus on the 5 hours worth of key points before you get into 14 hours worth of information. Think of like starting at the top of the pyramid. We want the least amount of information that's going to be the biggest impact before we start adding additional information. So master what's in that MP3 before you move on to what's in the weekend prep recording. But if you follow this strategy, if you follow this combination, this is what we call the Pass First Try strategy at Tampa School of Real Estate. And we didn't necessarily build these study tools and then create the Pass First Try strategy. We created the Pass First Try strategy and devise the best exam prep tools to fulfill those steps it is that you're going through to be able to pass your exam. So this strategy, it'll work whether or not you have our exam prep tools or not. But if you want to cut time out of the equation, if you want to simplify, if you want to make this easier on yourself, that's what this bundle will help you do. It's going to take all this information, all of our expertise and wisdom, and make it as simple as we can to be able to review. And so often we get the question from our students, well, why don't you make the course this way? Well, because the course has a lot more requirements by the Florida Real Estate Commission in order to give you credit. There's things we have to teach in that FREC required course that you won't find in our exam prep materials. And the reason why is because we know that's not information that's important for the exam. So therefore, it's not a focus of the exam prep materials. These exam prep materials will not cover everything in your course, which is why they will not give you credit. So you do need to have a pre-licensing course completed in order to get credit for this, to be able to take your state exam. But now when it comes to reviewing and studying and preparing to be able to pass that exam on the first try, that's where these exam prep tools here come in to shine. So look, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we'll be talking more about passing your exam, and we'll be going back to some of these questions here in the chat. I want to appreciate everybody that has been answering some great questions today. So stick with us. We'll be back after this quick commercial break. I'm Jon Carissimo. You're watching Ask the Instructor. Are you studying for your Florida real estate exam? If you are, you need to check out our Pass First Try strategy. You're going to love this. It's 4 steps that we break down the process to study for your Florida real estate exam. So you're set up to pass your Florida real estate exam because that's what you're studying for, right? To pass your exam. It's 4 steps. Number 1, you learn the information. You've got to learn this to be able to pass the exam, but it doesn't stop at learning. Step 2, you've got to reinforce the basic, simple, key concepts. As you learn this information, keep reviewing the simple things. You don't need to know everything, but you got to review these basic key concepts. Step 3, you've got to test your knowledge. The exam's going to test your knowledge, so if you don't test your knowledge in advance, you won't find out if you know what you think you know until you take the exam. And then step 4 is be confident and prepared, because even if you know this material, you need to be confident that you know the material. Check out the full strategy at passfirsttry.com. That's passfirsttry.com. Hello and welcome back to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in today with some really great questions about passing the exam. Again, if you just tuned in and you're worried about what's changing in 2023, if you've already been enrolled in our curriculums, we've already updated our curriculums to stay ahead of the updates even before the Florida Real Estate Commission updates the syllabus. So if you're already in our programs, we keep that information up to date. So if you registered today, you're in good shape with this going into 2023. We have this information current, up to date with the current laws, and compliant for that 2023 syllabus for what you need to know to be able to pass your exam. And again, if you have any direct questions on this, 813-333-2676. You could find the best sale we've offered all year right now at tampaschoolrealestate.com. Today only, we've got a very special extra promo code available on top of the special sale pricing for this entire Pass First Try bundle it is that we have here. And one other thing I did want to mention as well is we also do have installment payment plans available. So it's powered by ShopPay and Affirm. At checkout, you could choose ShopPay to split your purchase into 4 payments, or I believe if it's over, I think it has to be over $1,000 to be able to do monthly payments. But we do have the option to do monthly payments, and the monthly payments do have a small bit of interest with it, but we do also have the option for bi-weekly payments with no interest. No interest, no fees, and a lot of times you don't even have to make the first payment today on that. So you might be considering just putting this on a credit card or something like that, but it's the holiday season. You might have some gifts it is that you need to purchase. You might want to preserve the cash, whatever the reason may be. I would definitely recommend checking out the installment program it is we have. You just put in whatever card it is that you want to bill it, and then it'll set it all up for payments for that every other week. So it just basically takes the cost. So say you're paying $200, that'd be $50 every other week. And usually you don't even have to do the first payment today. It'll usually be 2 weeks out for the first payment. That depends on the qualifications with the firm and so on and so forth. But that would definitely be something I would consider rather than putting that on your credit card and running that balance up or taking up your spending power for other gifts you may be buying people this holiday season, whatever it may be. Definitely take advantage of that if that is something that would benefit you. And if you have any questions about that as well, we do have more information on the website. But again, you could always reach out to us at 813-333-2676. Like I said, this promo that we've got running for the Pass First Try bundle right now, this is going to be the best pricing it is that we offer. This will be a higher price, as well as not having the promo code available come January of next year, because January, everybody all of a sudden wants to get a real estate license. So if you want to get ahead of that rush, if you want to try to get this done even before the end of the year, there's still exam appointments available if you are exam eligible. If you're exam eligible, you could go in and take your exam as soon as you get an appointment. So if you want to try to pass your exam before the end of the year, get enrolled in this exam prep course. Start, I would say, with the MP3 to start reviewing the key points. Go through the secrets of the exam so you have your instructions of how to use all these tools, what to be prepared for on the exam that isn't necessarily about the content in your course. Use the question simulator to test your knowledge, and then use the weekend prep to build your confidence in those most important key points. And you have that workbook. Again, we're going to ship out to you. We have free shipping to the contiguous 48 United States, and we do ship internationally as well. We also have expedited shipping available if you want to get this faster, but you will have a digital copy of the workbook available along with your weekend prep class. So this is a phenomenal set of tools if you want to pass your exam, if you're serious about doing this and taking time out of the equation. You might wonder, well, do I need to do this? What does it matter if I have to take the exam a couple times? The state exam, it costs like $40 every time you go to take it. And on top of that, it costs time. It costs stress. It costs your life potentially. You don't want to delay your future, especially when you could go spend less than $200 to accelerate this process significantly. So check it out, passfirsttry.com. It'll take you right to the page. Again, if you have any questions, the phone number to reach out to us directly here is 813-333-2676. Everything is confidential, of course. And again, our advisors here, not only do they have sales associate licenses, but also broker licenses, instructor licenses. We have an amazing team of individuals here at the Tampa School of Real Estate. So reach out to us any way it is that we can help you grow your real estate business. If you want to make sure you don't miss out on Friday's episode, if you're not yet subscribed, text the word success to that phone number, 813-333-2676. So if you text that word success to 813-333-2676, we'll get you subscribed to our Success Center updates. So that way, whenever it is we have future episodes to help you pass your exam, to help you understand your real estate business, to help you start closing deals, to help you hold open houses, working with buyers, working with sellers, or if there's a topic we haven't covered yet that you want to see us cover in the future, reach out to us, 813-333-2676. Again, text that keyword success, and most importantly, take advantage of that promo. If you are serious about passing your exam within the next 6 months here, get enrolled in these exam prep tools today so you can start using them on a daily basis, just even if it's a few minutes on the MP3 audio review. But start using these, start reviewing, and before you know it, you will be able to pass your exam. So it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. And if you have any questions about us helping you through that, 813-333-2676. It's about all the time we've got for today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We'll be back this Friday for State of Real Estate, 12 noon. Again, text the word success to 813-333-2676 to make sure you're subscribed. It's all the time we've got for today. I'm Jon Carissimo. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on Friday.
The most powerful tool to study for your real estate exam is the Question Simulator from Tampa School of Real Estate. We've used our years of experience in preparing students for the Florida real estate exam to bring you the most powerful exam study tool available. In the Question Simulator, you'll be able to go directly to a particular unit so you can focus on the sections where you need the most practice. We have also included the percentages of each unit so you know which units are the most important for your real estate exam. Every question will immediately give you detailed feedback, which is almost always more important than the question or the answer themselves. After completing all the questions in a particular unit, you can go through question by question and review any that you've gotten wrong. You could also print out a report at the end of each quiz. The Question Simulator from Tampa School of Real Estate is 100% mobile compatible, so you can practice with test questions anywhere you have your phone with you. Enroll now at questionsimulator.com and get ready to pass your exam.
Hey, so if you're thinking about starting a real estate career, it could feel a little overwhelming sometimes. Look, that's completely understandable. That's why we're here to help. If you haven't already, check out our Success Center, tampaschool.com/success, or if you don't even know where to begin, give us a call. We'd love to help you out. We've got advisors standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way it is that we can. Our phone number is 813-928-0106. Again, that's 813-928-0106. Give us a call. We're the Tampa School of Real Estate.
Do you want a career that allows you to be in control? With a career in real estate, you'll get to call the shots. Whether you're looking at starting part-time or want to become the next top agent, a career in real estate makes it possible. Find out what it takes at tampaschool.com. Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com.
Are you thinking about a career in real estate? Hey, I'm Jon Carissimo with the Tampa School of Real Estate, and we've helped thousands of people just like you obtain their real estate license. If you're thinking about a career in real estate, give us a call. The phone number is 813-928-0106. Our advisors are standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way they can. Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.